Yeah, seems like you're live. Okay.
So,
Yes. Welcome, one and all. In here, out there, everywhere around Symphony Solutions. My name is Boda, and this is Symphony Persona Live. It's an online talk show where we meet amazing symphonians and hope to learn some cool personal stories, professional insights, and get inspiration and some good-natured fun. It's the season one finale, and our title is I don't want it. I quit. But we don't quit. We're not going anywhere. We are streaming live from the Lviv office of Symphony Solutions. And we've got a very special guest here. And here's what's really exciting about him. Symphony AI Challenge winner, walked all the way from Argentina to USA, automation guru in the making, successful entrepreneur, Udemy instructor, loving father of three, Japanese learner, accidentally in IT, quit his job in one day. Please welcome the extraordinary lead test automation engineer at Symphony Solutions, Juan Jose Torres Zamora.
thank you so much. Thank you so much, Boden.
It's so wonderful to see you. Thanks for being with us today. Thanks for coming. It's Symphony Persona Live, and we are so happy to have you on the show.
Thank you. It really is an honor for me to be able to share my stories, to share my background, my experience with the rest of the company and all of the world. So I'm very excited to be here, and I was really looking forward to this day.
Oh, very nice. We would, I mean, all the way from Argentina, ladies and gentlemen,
That's
right?
right.
And we would love to actually know where you guys are watching us from. Please write that in comments. Which country, which city, which part of the world are you watching us from right now? It's Symphony Persona Live, and we are streaming live from Lviv, Ukraine, talking to Juan Jose Torres Zamora. Juan, we have a few traditions here on the show. We really want to learn the coolest story ever. I mean, your life story, and we want for you to have some fun as well. Do you mind playing a Never Have I Ever game with us?
I don't mind at all.
Okay, so this is how it works. I want you to raise your right or left hand up, spread your fingers like that. Yes, I will state something you supposedly had never done before. If you have done it, though, one finger down. Okay,
Got
it's
it.
Never Have I Ever with Juan Jose Torres Zamora here on Symphony Persona Live. So this first one is Never Have I Ever gotten a tattoo.
I have many
Oh,
tattoos.
really?
Yes, I
Okay.
do.
What's the craziest one?
Oh, my right arm one.
What's the nearest one? What's the latest one?
This is I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's
Oh,
all the way up to here. It's a dragon I designed. I can't show you because of my shirt, but it's a dragon, and I have an owl because it represents knowledge, an animal of knowledge, and I like dragons and I like pandas, so it's like a mixture of both.
wow. Crazy.
Yeah, so
Good.
that's
I
one
love
down
it.
already.
Okay. Never have I ever pranked a colleague at work for a good laugh.
What was that? Can you say it
Prank.
again?
Never have I ever pranked a
Oh,
colleague
I
for a good
have
laugh.
pranked my
Okay.
colleagues. Yes,
Well,
I
yeah, what
have
was the
pranked.
funniest one?
The funniest one was when one time we switched salt with sugar. That morning was really
Okay.
a lot of fun.
All right, moving on. Never have I ever taken a picture of my food before eating.
Oh, of course I have. Everyone has.
Always.
Even if you haven't posted it, you thought about it.
Or you took that picture and it's somewhere in your gallery, right? And then you
Right, of
probably
course.
deleted it. Okay. Uh,
Everyone has one.
here's my favorite. Never have I ever Googled my own name.
Oh, I've done that many, many times over.
Why would you do it?
Well, I wanted to see my SEO rank because as I'm an Udemy instructor, if I
Uh-huh.
show up, that's good for my courses. So I
Mm,
always make sure that those things are always working. So whenever I look for myself, I try to find myself in the first 10 results.
okay. Trying to see how popular you are, right?
Yes, of course.
Never have I ever sent a text to a wrong person.
That's a hard one.
Uh-huh.
That's a hard one. I probably have, but it's not. It hasn't been something that created a good story. So next
Yeah,
one.
I've got this next one here. Never have I ever taken a hot selfie.
Of course I have. I, I was I was a teenager once, and I'm not ashamed to say it.
Okay. So were you actually looking hot at that time?
I was trying. I
Okay.
can tell you that much. I don't know if it worked, but I did my best.
Okay. Alrighty. People are loving the conversation. We've got people watching us from London, Skopje, Brazil.
Oh,
I can tell we have Coyote from all the way from Nigeria. Thank you very much, you guys, for watching. Stay active on in the comments. We're moving on to this next set block of questions, and those are quick questions. The questions that we want you to answer as soon as the question is asked. The answer doesn't have to be short, but just whatever pops in your head as an answer, go with it.
all right.
What's the worst thing you ever did while online meeting when your camera was off?
Oh, the worst thing I ever did was actually to go make a barbecue while I was in a meeting.
Was it a client meeting?
Not really. It was an internal meeting, thankfully. But it was a national holiday here in Argentina, and usually we tend to eat barbecues. And I'm the only one who could make the best barbecue, so I had to do both for a while.
Oh, of course you are the only one who makes the best barbecue, right? Was it when you were already with Symphony Solutions?
No, it wasn't.
Okay, you
Because
better watch it. Okay.
yeah. I'll
Okay,
invite
next.
you if I do.
Yeah. Next question. Next quick question. What's the weirdest thing you ever did to make money?
The weirdest thing I've ever did to make money. Well, it was actually I used to recycle when I was a little kid, right? I really like computers, and before you had to go to a cyber place to play, and I would ask my mom for money every day to go play, and then I would run out of money. So the weirdest thing I did is I got together with a few friends. We started picking up like cardboard boxes and plastic bottles, and we started selling them just to have so that we would have enough money to go play video games. So
Oh,
that's the weirdest thing I've done for money.
okay. How much money could one make doing that when you were a teenager?
Well, when I was a little kid, I was making about $1.50 a day doing that, which is
That's not,
quite a lot for 8-year-old at the
I
time. I was
trust you.
playing for like 2 hours.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, next one here is name something that you are obsessed with right now.
VR, virtual reality. I love
Wow.
it. I love everything technology wise. If something comes up, I have to have it. And I'm waiting for the Apple Vision to come out. It's going to be very expensive, but I think it's going to be worth it.
What are you using at this moment? Like you probably have a set.
Yes, I have the Quest 2 and the Oculus Quest 3 that I got a few days ago. And it has mixed reality, which is amazing. It's another world. I love it. I love that.
Well, that's why you are the winner of the AI challenge. Okay, next one here is one of my favorites. If you had an unlimited supply of one thing, what would that be?
A limited supply of one thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a could money be one?
It can be
I guess
anything.
money, right? It's
Why
then I
not?
can have whatever I want.
Absolutely. That's your answer. Thank you very much. And the last one here is, what do you want for your birthday?
What do I want for my birthday? Well, it's funny that you asked that because it's hard for people to give me things because usually when something comes up, I do my best to buy it as soon as I can. So the one thing I do have in my mind is to have a nice piano, a nice keyboard. Right now, I am using this one, which is for little kids, and I don't know if you guys can see it, but
And
let's
not
see.
really, yeah, but well, we realize what it is.
One of the things that I use the virtual reality for is to be able to learn how to play the keyboard. So that's I'm mixing both things. I'm mixing music, and I'm mixing technology as well in that.
So you are learning how to play the piano, the keyboard through virtual reality.
Exactly. So
How
how it works is
amazing is
like,
that?
yeah, you can see your keyboard, and then on top of your keyboard you can see the notes coming down, so you know which key you have to press, and the game will stop if you don't press the right key, and it'll give you a score at the end. So I love everything that has to do with gaming, and it has to do with me learning a new skill. So combining those things is a winner match for me.
Is there anything that you've learned so far and you can show us?
No, because I started 2 days ago.
I got you. Okay, those were the quick questions. Thank you very much for your honesty, and the answers are just incredible. We still get people from Krakow. People say you rock it, and we have someone watching us from Wrocław, Poland. We're moving on to the big questions, the topics that have been announced. Obviously, everyone's excited to know the whole story, because there's a lot to tell. So first of all, congratulations on winning the Symphony AI Challenge.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. And the question is, can you share the most exciting and maybe challenging part of the competition? And the most important one, of course, where did the money go?
All right. So first of all, the most challenging part was actually coming up with something that was creative enough. That would also not take me a lot of time to create, right? So the idea for me was to make it, to create a product that seemed like it took a lot of work, but it actually took less work because of AI, right? So that was my point, to say, okay, yes, I usually doing this script or doing this video will take me like 2 or 3 days, but maybe I can do it in one day if I use AI. And that's actually what I aim for and what I was able to achieve. The hardest part was to figure out whether I wanted to make a video that was funny or that it was informative, right? So I wanted to do a mix of both, but not lose the seriousness of, you know, the challenge itself and the company. But I also wanted to show off a little bit of my personality. And in my personal background, I have a lot of video editing experience. I used to be, when I lived in New York, I was given like a scholarship for Columbia University, and I actually did one of the documentaries for when the levees broke. So back in 2005, there was a big flooding in United States because a dam broke. So I worked with Columbia University in order for us to be able to create a documentary. So I mixed those things. I made sure that to use video, to use audio, and make it engaging enough for people to see. And also it worked a little bit as an advertisement for Symphony, because I tried to put the Symphony name as much as I could in the video, because I wouldn't have been able to create it if I wasn't given the space to do it, right? So that's I would say that would summarize most of the AI challenge. And as far as the money, I'm still, so I'm as you mentioned, I'm an entrepreneur, so I like to spend my money wisely when it comes to creating new businesses or creating new alternatives. So I am getting some things that will help me with the video production of my courses that I do on the weekends.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, your a product, whatever you've delivered for the AA challenge, is just amazing. Everybody loved it, and yourself too. You've put a lot of efforts, but see,
Yes, I did.
whatever you learn on the way, whatever you gain as a knowledge, it's at some point it pops up as something really useful.
Yes.
Big kudos to whatever you've done on this challenge, and to wherever you go further with the challenges.
Thank you.
God bless you and good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Okay, here's the next question. This was something really intriguing. I mean, people asked me here in the office, by the way, what the heck is this story about walking from Argentina to the USA? I mean, so yes, I mean, walking from Argentina to the USA would be quite a journey. So the question here is, what's the story behind all this adventure? Please tell us in details.
Okay, so I'll try to make it as short as possible. I didn't really walk from Argentina to United States, but I did fly to Mexico. So back when it was the year 2000, we had a big crisis here in Argentina. economic crisis. Before that, my father and my older brother had left to the United States. We tried to go there as well to live there with my mom and my sister, but we weren't able to get a visa, right? So our only option at the time was to actually cross the border illegally through by foot from Mexico to the United States. At the time, I was only 12 years old when I did that. And it was a very, I wouldn't say traumatizing experience because I didn't get any traumas from it, but it actually showed me that, you know, one's own power is unstoppable, right? Like my desire to be with my father was so big that risking my life was worth it, you know? And
But why would you say you were risking your life?
Well, because, you know, crossing the border, it's you have to walk for like 5 days in the desert with other people and not getting caught by the Minutemen, which are the people that make sure that you don't cross the border, actually. So at the time, I was only 12, so I wasn't really committing a crime because, you know, when you're under 18 and you cross through the border, it's considered like you're looking for, salvation, and you're escaping out of something. So we were escaping out of poverty. And that's what led us to do that as well.
Oh my God. So
yeah.
how did that end up?
Well, we actually got caught 3 times. I got sent back to Mexico a couple of times. I have some crazy stories. Some are not as happy as I would like them to be. But the end result, I could say it was totally worth it. I would do it every time. If I had to relive my life, I would take the same decision because all of the good things that came out of that hardship actually made me who I am today. And I would not be who I am if I hadn't gone through that. I can tell you that right now. That's 100% sure. You know, when you're walking around and you're like fearing for your life, or, you know, your mom and your sister, and it's too much to handle, right? So I was only 12 at the time. I was seeing people like left and right, like they were like just dropping because they didn't have enough water, enough food, and I could still make it, and I made it. And even then I got caught, but we still kept going. So after I was able to do that, as an idea was brought into my mind that nothing could ever stop me from doing what I wanted to do, as long as it depended on me. So that's why I'm a big advocate for hard work. I'm a big advocate. I'm not a fan of excuses. I don't like excuses. I feel that if you want to do something, you just go ahead and do it. Take the first step and be prepared, right? Be prepared for when life gives you a chance to actually take a choice and to make a decision. Then you're ready for that decision, because a lot of people have a lot of opportunities, but they're not ready to take them, right? So if you're prepared, that will never happen to you.
Shut the front door. I mean, I'm speechless. I need to take some water.
Yes.
Wow.
I not a lot of people know about my story. Now they do. And I'm happy to share it. You know, I'm not ashamed to say what I did, because it was in good virtue. When I was in the United States, I never committed any crimes. I finished a high school. I tried to go to college. I wasn't able to. And that's why I came back to Argentina 10 years ago.
Oh, wow. This is one of the most inspiring stories I've ever heard in my life. I mean, you were just 12 years old, and so much responsibility on your shoulders, and seeing that goal in front of you just to be able to see your father around. Wow.
I'll tell you one thing I remember that I'll never forget. Every night when we go to the mountains, because it's a very mountainous area, we would go to the top and we would see far away the lights of the city, right? That was United States. And like we would go down and then we would go up, and those lights were closer and closer and closer. And that's what gave me hope to keep walking, because I knew I was making progress.
Those lights, right? Literally, right?
Yes, literally. Like I could see them. Like it was very visual. I knew that I was getting closer. So that also has shaped my idea of goals now, because if I see my progress on something that I'm doing, I'm more likely to actually go through that thing. But if I see that the goals are far ahead and I'm not seeing the constant improvements, then it becomes much harder for me to stay focused on that goal. And I think that experience has to do with the way of thinking, basically.
The only thing I'm thinking about now is that I would love to read a book with a chapter about this journey. So, do you ever think of writing a book?
I do actually. I do think of writing a book. I'm not very big at writing. I don't like to manually write, but I do like to type. So I am definitely thinking about that, and I would love to do that.
Okay. Well, thank God you've reunited with your family. And so
Yes.
next question here is probably related to your family. So the question is, running your own business is a big deal.
Yes.
What inspired you to start your own thing, and what is it all about? What
Okay.
is that business? Yeah.
So what inspired me is that well, like I mentioned before, we have a big crisis here in Argentina, right? And I'm very I don't want to blow my own horn, but I really do enjoy helping people, and I like helping people who want to make a progress and who want to work for something, right? So what I did is I found some family members weren't having a good time economically, right? Thankfully, I was already working in the IT industry, so I was getting well paid at the time, and from then on. So what I did is I actually started a few businesses so that these family members could run them, and create some sort of a job income. So so I started a few stores. I opened like a small mini market. I also opened up a store that's related to cleaning supplies. And I don't make a cent out of those businesses because I want
Who
them
is?
to yeah, my family members are.
Okay.
So they had no job, and now they are able to work and they're able to move forward, and they started fixing their houses better, and the kids can go to school, and that's what makes me happy, and that's why I started doing that. And I love helping people as long as people want to do something with that help.
That's big, man. Oh my God. So basically you've invested into their well-being, right?
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
How many
Exactly.
stores are there already?
We have 3 stores at the moment.
Oh, it's a
And
grocery store, a market, and something with
yes,
the place.
well, it's two like mini markets, and one is related to like cleaning supplies.
Uh-huh.
Um, and it's I when I started, I was all over that place, like making sure that everything was all right. And then I told them, I have other things to take care of. I have my own career to work on, so I've already started this. You guys keep it going. Take care of it for me. I don't want any money out of it. But if you ever close, then of course everything it belongs to me, right? So I can just sell it and get the money back. But it's not really about that. It's more about like, how can I be happy if I'm having a good time economically, but my family isn't, right?
Exactly. Uh-huh.
So like I cannot, and even my peers, I've helped some of my friends go through college. I funded their scholarships and things like that, because I really do like people who put a lot of effort to move forward in life, and I respect that a lot. And if I can be that beacon of light and give them the opportunity to do that, then I'm all for it, because I wish I had that when I was growing up.
Oh yeah. Well, let me tell you, you're getting so much support from our audience down there in comments on YouTube,
Thank
and
you.
yeah, everyone is happy about you being on the show and telling these incredible stories. Okay, let's talk about you as a professional.
Right.
More so, moving on, we have this other topic, and that's you teaching on Udemy.
Yes.
Well, to me, it sounds very interesting, but the question here is, you can answer a lot more than we ask you. But why did you decide to become an instructor on Udemy, and what's the most fun part about it?
Okay, so in the beginning, when I started I was working at a certain company which is related to credit cards here in Argentina. And I was hired to do an assessment of an automation framework that was created by another company. Unfortunately, that framework was unstable. So I proposed to change to something called Serenity BDD. And at the time, there was only one person who knew about Serenity BDD in the entire world, and was the person who created the course and who created the automation framework, right? So that person will sell his course for like $200, which was very, very expensive, especially here in Argentina. So thankfully, the company that I was working for bought it for me, and I started learning. So I had to teach other people how to use this automation framework. It was really hard to get everyone in sync at the same time because it was a group of about 20 people. So I decided, okay, you know what? I'm going to start recording myself, explaining how this works, and then everyone can watch it on their own time. So
Sorry, was it in English or in Spanish?
I did it in Spanish because they didn't speak English. So I couldn't give them the course to do it by themselves either. So, I would have to be there. So the information wasn't available in my language. And I said, okay, I'm going to do it. I did it, and I uploaded it to the rest of my coworkers. I said, here's the course, take a look at it, whatever. And then my employer said, why don't you put this on Udemy, and you can maybe make a few bucks there. And I thought about it, and I uploaded it, and the first month I made like $20, and I was so happy. I was like, whoa, I'm actually making some money with this, right? So I put a lot more effort into it. I made it better, and it's one of my most selling courses right now. Just don't go look it up because it's outdated. But
I'm not that into automation for now.
It's outdated. Yeah, I did it like about 4 or 5 years ago, but people still buy it because it's the only one that explains how to use this framework in Spanish. So from then on, I saw the need for more content in my language. A lot of people don't speak English here. So I said, okay, I do, and I understand this, and I can teach it, and I can make it accessible for everyone for very cheap, because like Udemy courses are like $10 or $15 compared to $200. So I did it in part because of altruism, because I wanted to help people, but at the same time, I wanted to make a small income extra on the side for myself. And I've been going strong for the past 6 years or so, creating different contents for like Cypress, manual testing, Postman, backend testing. I've also done Catalan, and I'm currently working on a playwright course right now. So it's and the most fun is actually learning. I can tell you right now that whenever you create a course, you have to learn it, and you learn it on the spot. Sometimes when I'm explaining something to someone and I don't really understand it, as I'm explaining it, I understand it. So I become better at it. And
you are improving yourself, your own skills,
exactly,
right?
Exactly. That's right. And that's the most fun. And actually, the least fun is having to read comments, negative comments about the course. But I take it very lightly. I know that that's not my main concern right now. Like I have my own career, so that's something on the side.
Oh, well, but you obviously get more positive feedback
Yes, of course.
than negative from the haters. But sometimes you get constructive feedback, you get constructive criticism, but not all of it is constructive. Some it's just pure hate.
Huh? That's right.
Yeah. So just screw them. Let's talk about another fun part of your life. Okay.
Okay.
So that's juggling work and being a dad. Which is probably quite challenging. I mean, there's so much on your plate. There's so much going on. And so my question here would be, how do you manage both being a dad and being successful in work, being not just both, but the three things in your life: being successful in work, being a successful entrepreneur, and being a wonderful dad? How do you manage all three? And what's your secret to being a cool dad while working?
Okay, so I think that first of all, the first thing that I consider that it helps me be closer to my kids and to my wife as well is being able to work from home. That to me has been key, because there's sometimes I get to see them when they wake up. I get to see them when they eat before they go to school. Even though I don't take them, I can say goodbye to them every day, and that's something that is a privilege, and it's such a big privilege that I would say like maybe 1% of people in history that has ever lived has had the chance to do that, right? So every moment that I have, and every time I'm able to remember that, okay, I'm in my house, I can be close to my family while I'm still being successful at my work. I am very thankful for all the work that I did in the past that has allowed me to actually be where I am today. The key is to being able to separate your, I guess, for men, I guess that happens sometimes when we're able to take different roles, right? Like we get on the mindset when we're doing something, and then I am able to completely get out of that mindset and switch to the other mindset of what's important right now. It's not easy, and lately, I'm going to be honest, it has been a little bit troublesome, actually, switching my head 100% out of work, because I'm always thinking of what the next thing I'm going to do. What am I going to do next? Am I working on this course? And sometimes I'm playing with my kids, and I have to constantly remind myself, hey, you're with your kids right now. Think about that later, right? It's okay. Don't fight against the thoughts, but think about that later, because the moment right now is being with your kids. So being able to separate that, being able to not get so stressed about work and about things, that everything has a solution. No matter what happens, everything has a solution. The only thing we can't solve is death, but everything else has a solution. So I know that it's important for me to be able to be successful in my career. I have to be successful in my personal time. So also, it's like I make my personal time very valuable. Like I go play paddle. It's like tennis. I take some time to play video games at night, because otherwise, yeah, otherwise my energy will be drained, and then I'm gonna get mad at my kids. I'm gonna do a bad job at work because I'm mad because I'm not getting any time for myself, and then everything crumbles down. So each area for me is a pillar that keeps me up on my daily basis, basically. So the key, I would say, is to be able to put everything into boxes. After 6 o'clock, I don't do anything related to work, right? And that's something that I ever, never, ever, unless maybe there's like a special thing that I have to do, like maybe a live or something like that. But other than that, I don't do it, because if I don't take care of my other priorities, which is my family, then it's not fair for them either, right? So what I do, and I never say that my all of my sacrifice is for them, because that's a selfish thing to say, and it's a lie. Everything I do it for myself. But if I'm happy, they see me happy, and I can be happy with them, right? I'm not gonna say, oh, I do all of this because of you guys, so that you guys can live well and have a good future. It's not about that. It's about myself. Of course, they benefit from it, but if I'm ever not happy, I'm gonna stop doing, and I'm gonna do something different.
How old are you?
I'm 32. No, 33. I turned 33 a month ago.
Jesus, I feel like I'm talking to a 60-year-old wise man. Honestly, God. Honestly, God. Oh my God. Okay. God bless your family. God bless your kids. How old are they? What are their names?
My youngest daughter, she's 2 years old. Her name is Isabella, and she's the most adorable being in the entire world. And she's also the most maniac baby in the world. If she wants something, she will get it. And I love that about her.
She got that from her daddy.
Yeah, I guess she did. And then my youngest son, my middle son, he is 6 years old. His name is Maximo, and he is the smartest kid in the world. Of course, everyone, and they're the best kids in the world because they're mine, and every parent will say that, right? But now I really love him so much, and like he has shown so much passion for technology that it makes me so happy. Like we play video games together. He wants to learn about coding, and like he looks up to me. So you have to be very careful what you do, because they'll follow and they'll do what you do, right? So be careful out there. And then I have a stepdaughter. She's 12 years old. My wife already had a kid when I met her. She was only 3 when I met her, and she's 12 now. She finished middle school and is going to high school now. And she's very independent. She's very loving, and she treats me like a father, and respects me as a father, and loves me as a father. So I'm very thankful for having gained that love and that trust from her too.
All I want to say is just hello to your beautiful family. You've got a wonderful father and a great man there as a husband, you guys. Yes,
Thank you.
you're so lucky to have him. Okay, moving on. And speaking of the constant learning, I've heard that you are learning Spanish. This is something totally different, right? So,
Japanese.
yeah, Japanese. When you speak Spanish, you're learning Japanese. That's right.
Yes.
The question here is, what made you start learning Japanese? And yeah, how do you fit learning Japanese into your working days or into your any day?
Okay, so I started learning Japanese when I was around 19, 18 years old. I thought that the language sounded so cool whenever people would speak it. I loved the way that it sounded, and I fell in love with the Japanese culture. I like everything that has to do with respect. I like everything that has to do with order. They seem like a very ordered society, and that's something that I would love to live by. I love being able to like in Argentina, it's a lot of chaos. People are, they cut the streets so you can't go somewhere, and that doesn't happen over there. And it's all about respecting your elders. Doing your best. Like they have a word which is called gambate, which it means like do your best. Do your best. Whatever you do your best. It doesn't matter if you do it well or if you don't do it well. As long as you did your best, you won. And
How do
that's
you say it again in Japanese?
gambate.
Gambate.
Yeah, it's like do your best, gamate.
Okay.
And I started learning. I bought a book. I didn't have money to go to language lessons, so I bought a book and I started learning hiragana, katakana, and some kanji, which is the way that Japanese language is written. And I learned by myself. I started watching videos. I bought a book and I started learning how to write it. And then I was looking for a group of people that were interested in learning Japanese in United States. I wasn't able to find one. So I said, okay, if it doesn't exist, I will create my own. And that's how I created something called a JCAG, which is Japanese Cultural Appreciation Group. We started getting together in some cafes to talk about the language and to talk about the culture of Japan. And we were only 4 people. And then 1 year later,
Where
fast
did you
forward,
find those people? Like, where did you look for them?
there's a site called meetup.com.
Mhm.
So you can create events there and people choose to attend or not. And that's where like 4 people said, I'm going. And I said, okay, that's great. They're coming. So we're going to have something to start with. And fast forward a year later, I had about 200 people taking classes where we will teach Americans and other people who didn't speak Japanese. We will teach them Japanese, and then we will teach the Japanese people how to speak English, because they will go there to, for vacations, and they wanted to improve their English. So we had about 5 classrooms full of people every Friday. And then we will mix them. We will get them all together. They get to mingle. They became friends, and a lot of people actually became lovers, and they got married because of that. And
Holy moly.
I don't know. I can't explain how much your actions can have a repercussion on people's lives that maybe you'll never see again, right? If I had not created that meeting, if I had not picked up that first book, these 2 people would have never met and they would have never got married. So I changed their whole family life forever, right? And
Yes.
that's why people have to be very careful with their actions, because you are impacting everyone else. It's not just about you, you're impacting people around you. And if you impact people, make sure that it's as positive as it can be. It might be negative, but as long as it's not your intent to make it negative, then you're good.
So this is something I need to say to Tanya Soroka, because she is most likely watching us on YouTube. Tanya, we have an expert in creating communities here. Go talk to him. Okay.
I
Oh,
love creating communities. Yes, I do.
well, how did it end up? I mean, is the community growing? Is it still existing, or
It
what
doesn't
happened?
exist. It doesn't exist anymore. A year after I came back to Argentina, I left it on the hands of the people, because I created a committee of 10 people, and I left someone in charge in there. They continued doing a few more events, but eventually they closed it and it doesn't exist anymore. But I still have the memories, I still have the pictures, and I still have all of the good things that came out of there, and all the people that I met. It's been like, sometimes I feel like I have a different timeline of my own life because of all these things that have happened, and I'm thinking, when did I do that? How did I do that? And how long has it been since I did it? And I take experience from that and bring it to my everyday life, and that's why I'm also not afraid to stand here and talk to people. I don't get nervous. I love talking. I love when people want to hear what I have to say, but I love listening more. So that's when you actually internalize the knowledge of and the experience of other people.
Oh, thank you very much for doing this, man.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I love
And
it.
Tanya says in comments she has a lot of plans for you. Okay,
Awesome.
let's see
All
how that works. Here's the fun part. I mean, for me, it's
right.
funny, but because it says that you fell into IT by accident.
Yes.
How did that happen, and what made you stick with this industry for so long?
Okay. So my first contact with IT was when I started learning how to fix computers. Right, that was my first thing. I wanted to learn how hardware works. What's a hard disk? How can you save information in here? I can see a picture in my screen. That's pretty amazing to me. And then when I was in New York, I wanted to learn how to program, but it's too expensive to do that. Right, so I found a book from Stanford University where they were teaching how to code with Python, and I followed it, and I was starting to be able to do things, and I was really excited, like, oh my god, this is so cool, I can do this, right? Like I could create a small screen and it says whatever I wanted to say. That's really, really, like, for me, that's equal to having a superpower. I know that it's very simplified, but it's as much of a superpower as you can have, right? And then, well, I did that, I started learning. I came back to Argentina. I had very rough years when I came back to Argentina. I was only 22 years old. I was living by myself. I hung around the wrong people for a long time. Like, they were always like just thinking about partying and like having fun. And at the moment, I didn't know it, but I was going through depression. I was very depressed because I had come back from the United States, and since I got there illegally, I wasn't able to go back to the United States. So the decision I made to come to Argentina was a decision that was final, that for 10 years I wouldn't be able to go back, unless I applied some things, which later I did. I didn't go back yet, but I'm able to go back to United States. So during that time, I was working at a call center here in Argentina, and someone said, hey, there's this boot camp in some company about technology. And this person said, I wasn't a very, very big friend of this person, but she referred me for some reason. She said, oh, you're going to get an email about this because I referred you. I said, okay. I didn't think much of it. Okay, fine. Like, and then I forgot about it. And after a month, I get an email. It's like, oh, we want to invite you to this company, which is called Globant, to take a course on testing. And I said, okay, what time is it? And then I was working at the call center during the morning, from like 7 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. And then at 3, I had to be in the other company to do the course. So I didn't have time to eat lunch. I would just go running to the other company
Oh,
every
you
day.
had to be there physically, right? You
Yes, I
you
did.
did not have a chance to work from home.
No, because this was way before COVID, way before.
Uh-huh.
Um, so and so I did that effort. I went there, and let me tell you, when I first got in there, I was so how can I say? I was so humbled because I thought that, yes, I'm coming here. I speak English because that's something very big for me. Like, I can speak the language. That's really great. I know a little bit about programming. I'm gonna be great. And then I go in there and I see like 50 people sitting down, right, around, younger than me, because I was like 27 at the time, and they were like maybe 19 or 20 years old. They just got out of college. They're like, yeah, I'm an engineer, or maybe I have this degree and I did this and I already worked with some company or whatever. And I was just, I just spoke English, and I was working at a call center, and that's all I knew. I knew a little bit about Python, but that's it. I felt like, what am I doing here? So then they started giving us the classes. They separated us by groups, and they started teaching about testing. And my group, we had about 15 people, and slowly they started quitting. They started to quit, and I just kept going, and I just kept going. I kept raising my hand. I wanted for people to see that I was there and to call their attention, right? So I was very proactively participating in that. And then at the end of the course, they offered me a job. I had gotten fired from my job the day before because I missed one day of work. And I had very bad back pain because I had moved a house. I had moved from one house to another by myself with all my furniture. So I went to sleep. I woke up. I couldn't move. I swear I couldn't get off my bed. So I wasn't able to go to the doctor to get a doctor prescription.
Prescription, uh-huh.
So they thought I was lying, and they fired me. And then when I went back to work, I already had the job offer from the other company. And they said, oh, I'm sorry, I will have to talk to you because we have to fire you. And I said, oh, I was going to quit because I got another job. And they got so happy because they didn't want to fire me. They liked me, but the client said that they had to fire me. So they just had to do it. So they got really happy, and I started working at that company, thankfully. And ever since then, I fell in love with IT. I love working with people. I love planning. I love everything I have to do. And I kept working from there as manual tester. And now I'm doing a lot of things related to leadership and automation. So I have really grown, and I've taken the chance.
That's exactly what my next question would be, or was supposed to be. Becoming an automation guru is a big goal, right?
Yes.
So what sparked your interest in automation? We've already heard that a little bit. And what steps are you taking to achieve this guru status in the field?
Okay. So why did I start doing automation? Because I wanted to program. I wanted to become a programmer. But then I saw that the programmers were, they were developing things and things like that, but they were developing very specific parts of a big project, right? And when you do automation, mostly you own the automation framework, you own the automation projects, so you have more to say on what to do, and it makes more of a big impact for what I think, right? And I also like testing. I didn't want to stop testing. So when I found out that you can automate your tests, I said, this is what I want to do because I can program, which is what I want to do, and I can still do testing, right? And that's when I fell in love with it. I started learning Java. I started learning a whole bunch of automation frameworks. I wanted to be the best at it. And becoming a guru to me is something that, I like. I'm going to be honest. I like the recognition. I like when people, I would love to be the person who knows most about something. It's very special. I love knowledge. I love learning, and I love teaching. It's not knowledge for myself to keep, but I want other people to come to me and to be able to learn what I've learned in the past, and share that knowledge with them. That's why I want to become a guru. And that's why I create all these communities and I have these courses. So I try to have an online presence in order for people to be able to say, oh, I heard that name before. Who is this guy? I keep hearing about him. I read this article that he wrote, or maybe I saw this video where he was on, or maybe there was a Symphony Persona live and he was there, right? So you never know.
And once in my life, I will say I had this guy on my talk show.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. We are running out of time, but we still have at least 10 minutes to answer at least one of my questions, and we have questions from the audience. I hope we will get some because we always encourage people to ask questions in the comments, and most of the times our guests give something to the author of the most exciting, the trickiest, or the funniest, or the most interesting question out of all. So are you happy to do that as well?
Of course, I'm very happy.
Okay, so you guys can start typing your questions to Juan down there in comments on YouTube. Whoever asks the most interesting, exciting, tricky question gets something as a present from Juan Jose Torres Zamora. And what is it?
Okay, so what I was thinking about, it will depend on the person, but it'll be basically half an hour where we get together virtually, right? We share some time. We talk about what they want to learn about me during this interview that we didn't have enough time to cover maybe. And also I want to give them access to my courses, and also time for me to be able to explain something technically for them. And also I like to buy that person either a coffee or a beer, and something that we can eat at the same time while we are on that call. So I think that's going to be like a nice meeting and a nice time of relaxation and openness.
Oh, of course, of course. Like a coaching session, but with an extra twist to it. Right?
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
Exactly.
So you guys can start asking questions right now. I have this last question from my end, and that's obviously about the title of our show. I don't want it, I quit. So what actually happened, and what's the big story behind this phrase? Maybe it wasn't this literally this phrase, but there's something that happened to you in your life where you said, I quit this job, and it happened within one day. How did your life change in that moment?
Yeah. So before I was working at the last call center that I just mentioned, before I started working at Globen, I was working at another call center where I had to do a lot of sales. So I had to call people's houses and I had to sell them things like internet access or like credit cards and things like that, right? And I swear I was so unhappy. I was so unhappy during that time. I spent there about 3 years, and I didn't hate every day of it, but I hated what I had to do. I hated that I had to convince people to buy something that I didn't do. That, how can I stand behind a product that I have nothing to do with, right? I knew that the product was bad too, so I felt morally wrong. A lot of people lie to the clients, and I just like, that's not who I am. But I need to live and I need to make ends meet, and I had no other choice for a very long time. And that was the time when I was very depressed. I didn't know it. I looked so happy, and I was going to parties, and I had a lot of friends, but deep inside I knew there was something that wasn't right. Until one day I sat down in front of my computer, I put on my headset. I had been promoted to a different account, which is easier to sell, and I got the first call, and I swear it was like my whole life, my whole self just paused for a minute. Like, I could look around and no one was moving. I couldn't hear anything other than the hello, hello on the headset. Someone I was calling to sell something. And I felt a voice in my head telling me, what are you doing here?
You're kidding.
I swear. What are you doing here? Why are you still here? Like, I felt like something was going to change when I got promoted to this other account, but I realized I'm in the same place with the same people in the same building doing the same thing. And I have so much more that I can do. And I felt so frustrated. I felt like I was chained to that chair, and I had to prove to myself that I didn't depend on that position and on that moment at that time. So I simply took off my headset, didn't answer to this person that I was talking, an old lady. Hopefully she's okay. And then I turned around and looked at my boss and I said, how do I quit? And she said, what? I said, how do I quit? She's like, I don't understand. No, how do I quit? I don't want to be here anymore. And she's like, are you sure? I'm 100%. I never been so sure about anything in my life before. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. And then I went downstairs. They told me what to do. I went. I sent my resignation letter. And I swear, when I walked outside of that office, I looked at the sky, and I had never seen a more beautiful sky than that day. I had never felt the warm weather as much as I did that day. I felt like I was born again, and I had no job. I didn't know how I was going to pay for my apartment. I didn't have enough money to buy food or anything, but I was so happy that I didn't have to put myself through that anymore. And I said, you know what? I'm going to retake the road of my life. I'm going to retake the control of my life, and I'm going to do what makes me happy, whether that's makes me money or not. I don't care, but I cannot be this. This is not my life. And my friends tried to stop me from doing it. They couldn't. I was so decided, and that's the best decision I've ever taken in my life. Ever since then, it was rough because I had a few months without work. I didn't have electricity in my house. I didn't have running water because I couldn't pay for it. I almost got evicted from my place. And you know who saved me? My current wife.
Oh.
She stuck with me through that.
I was thinking of that old lady on the phone.
No. My wife met me during that time when I was at my lowest, and she accepted me and she helped me. And now I have flourished, and I share everything I have with her, because if it wasn't for her help, maybe I would still be down there. So I don't know. That's just
I mean, forget about the book. Now I want a movie. Okay, do both.
Yeah, that sounds better. I like the movies more.
Write the book first, and then we'll just film the movie. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness, is that even true?
Yes, 100%. When she
Okay.
met me, she used to buy me food. Imagine. So it's just crazy.
Yeah, you are the true Latino lover, right?
Yeah, of course. I guess I must be
Just
doing
kidding.
something
I'm
right.
just kidding. We have 3 minutes left, and we still have questions from the audience. So this first one
Yes.
here is, what are your favorite video games? Oh, okay. That's fair.
Yeah, okay. Favorite video games? Assassin's Creed. Every Assassin's Creed game. I love all of them.
That's it.
And Call of Duty. I play Call of Duty with my 6-year-old, and he's really good at it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Usually you
Huh?
do you
I
win?
usually either one of us. Sometimes he's first and then I'm first, but we're on the same team always. So we tend to win. He's really good. I love that he's really quick for that.
You're a good team. Okay. So this next one from Vitaly. Well, this first one about games was, remember, it's good to remember because we have a competition here.
Yes. Yes.
Lectus Sator. I
Okay.
hope I've pronounced your name right. So this next one is, will you play Symphony Solutions Anthem on your piano keyboard by the January 1st of 2024? That's a challenge from Vitaly Timashko.
I take the challenge. I
Okay.
accept the challenge. I will do it.
All right. Let's see how that works. I mean, Vitaly, if you don't mind, maybe we can hear the Bittersweet Symphony on our during our virtual gathering dedicated to the 15th anniversary. So that would work for me at least. But
yeah,
thank you very much, Vitaly, for this challenge. Lectus Sator was, by the way, Alexander V, whoever that is. Okay. Here's another question from Hector Rosani, or Heitor Rosani.
okay. Yeah.
Which one is more difficult? Walk until USA or raise 3 kids?
Oh, raising the kids.
Uh,
It's so much responsibility. Like if you're aware of what you're doing, and like I'm very conscious on what I do and everything I teach them that will impact for their life. It's such a responsibility. It's way harder to do that because when you do something like when it's yourself, like when I quit, I didn't have kids, right? So I take the damage and I take the responsibility of whatever happens afterward. But now I have to be very careful not to hurt them, like I have to make sure that they are okay. So definitely raising the 3 kids has been way more difficult than walking to the United States.
And sometimes too, like in that desert, you don't have time to take a sip of water, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Ivana Dejanovska asks, Juan, if your life were a movie, what would be the title?
Oh,
I have an option.
go ahead, go ahead.
I don't want it. I quit.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I don't want it. I quit. That's a good one. But I
Uh,
also feel very, very close to The Search of Happiness. You know that movie by Will Smith,
of
uh,
course.
with the son. I think that's what defines me. Like moving forward, looking for opportunities, and never stop. I don't feel like I I don't want to say that not everything is enough for me, but I always want a little bit more out of life. I want more energy. I want more passion. I want more experiences, and yeah, I want to share more. So for me, that would be like The Search of Happiness will be a good title.
Oh, yeah. Wonderful title. Yes. Thank you, Ivana, for your question. Vitali agrees on the challenge, on the deadline for the challenge. The
Awesome.
15th, the virtual gathering for the 15th anniversary. We're almost done here. Who gets the present? Is it either Alexander V with the question about video games? Is it either Vitali with his challenge? For you playing the anthem of Symphony Solutions, which is for now the unofficial anthem. It's the
Yeah.
Sweet Symphony, yes. Or is it Hatar with the question about raising kids? Or is it Ivana from Macedonia about asking with the question about the title for a movie, if that was your life, if your life was a
I
movie?
I think the one that made me think the most, and I think that was Hater's question. I really like that comparison. Like thinking, okay, what you're doing now isn't more than what you did there, because at the time that was unmatched, and now you see that what we do every day, right? Maybe you guys have never crossed the border, but you raise kids, and now you know that that's very very difficult as well. So it's very important. Not really difficult, but it is important. So yeah, I really do like that question a lot more.
Very
But
good.
thank you everyone for asking.
Yes, Heather, please approach your mentor. Juan Jose Torres Zamora is happy to spend at least half an hour with you, drinking beer, having a coffee, having a nice conversation, and maybe learning something from one another, right? Because
Yes.
that's what conversations are all about. We have this last question. We always ask each of our guests, what advice would you give to your 18-year-old self?
Oh wow, what a question. I would give oh man, I don't know. I have so many things to tell to myself, but I would say trust yourself and trust your intuition. Um Even if you don't have the means to do what you want to do right now, that will never stop you if you want to do what you want to do. So there's no excuses. Even if it's, like I wanted to learn Japanese, I couldn't go to college, I did it by myself. I wanted to program, no one can teach me because it's too expensive. Okay, I'll learn by myself. So whenever someone, if you want to do something, just take the first step, start. Don't wait for the right moment. It doesn't exist. The right moment doesn't exist. It's now. It's the only moment. The future may never come. And what you did, even if you made a mistake in the past, it's already gone. Just focus on now, and you will see the gains in the future if you do what you do with passion and not hurting anyone else around you.
This is incredible. This was one of the most exciting Symphony Personas live. Ladies
Thank
and
you.
gentlemen, dear Symphonians, everybody who joined us, say hello and a big thank you to the lead automation engineer at Symphony Solutions, the automation guru in the making, absolutely incredible person all the way from Argentina, Juan Jose Torres Zamora. Thank you very much for being with us on this
Thank you.
last show of season 1 of Symphony Persona Live.
Thank you. And I wish everyone a really good holidays. Happy New Year if I don't see some of you. and just let's keep moving forward. Let's make our community great as it can be.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you thank all of you guys for watching us there on YouTube. We hope you've had a wonderful time just like I did. My mind is blown, my heart is beating. I'm so happy we've made this. Stay tuned for the next season of Symphony Persona Live. We've had Juan Jose Torres Zamora as Symphony Persona Live today. Streaming from Lviv, Ukraine at Symphony Solutions. Thank you so much and see you guys very, very soon. Happy holidays. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Baden. Have a good one.